Hello, welcome to Maddie Makes. I'm Crystal and today we're doing a tutorial on crochet basics, starting with this is yarn and this is a hook and going from there. I'm using a worsted weight acrylic yarn, Red Heart, I believe, and a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook. I believe it's also called a G in America. So I met with a few of my friends from Chicks Connect and did a tutorial for them earlier today and thought I would do a video, a shortened version of what we did in our Zoom meeting, for if you want to join me on those Chicks meetings, or if you just want to learn, how to crochet to basically relax and make something useful. So we'll start with this is the yarn, this is the end. I make a loop around my fingers, cross in the front, loop goes to the back, pulling it up with the hook, pulling on both the ends, tightening it, and then pulling on the long end and tightening it around the hook. Okay, made our first loop. We are going to do a base chain, and then we're going to build up from there. So do a base chain. You have to have tension on the yarn coming from the skein. I do that by putting it between my ring finger and little finger, around the pinky finger, in front, and up and over your pointer finger, trying to keep it right up there on that joint, between the joint and the nail. And then I pull it around, and then I hold the work with my fingers here, either my middle finger or my ring finger and my thumb. Doesn't really matter, whatever feels comfortable. Then we're going to start working our chains. The hook works as your gauge, so it is the size of your loops. The bigger the hook to this yarn, the bigger your loops will be. Smaller the hook, the tighter the loops will be. Likewise, if you change yarn to a narrower thread or up to a chunky yarn, you are going to get the different effects as well. So we'll start with chaining. Bring the hook towards you and back, and then you'll have a loop around and you pull it through. Forward and back and loop around, forward and back and loop around. And you can use your pointer finger to help you do this. And we're just pulling it through and making loops. And we're going to do quite a few of these. And then I'm going to do single crochets. And we're just basically going to do, trying to do it a few different ways with my hands so you can see how things move. Just holding the hook, the narrow part, then moving it, and sometimes the fingers move. Trying to get a good view on the camera, but we're going to do just enough crochets so that it's like the width of a scarf, and then build up from there. You can see the hook, the working yarn pulling from the skein. All right, now I have something that's a good 8-10 inches wide. See all the lovely little chains. Now we're going to start working what's called a single crochet. So I'm going to loop the yarn back around my hands, so around my pinky, front and behind, and this is my left hand, and my right hand is working the hook. I am right-handed. If you are left-handed, treat me like a mirror. Do the mirror image of what I'm doing. So now to work up, we got our working loop, and it's coming through this first chain. So we need to skip that first chain, go into the top of the second chain, and pulling back a little to tighten that loop back up. Go under and over and get that loop back on the hook, through So now we have 2 loops on the hook. We'll round again and pull through. That's 1 single crochet. We're going to work one of those into each of the loops on the chain. So in the top part of that loop, around and through. In, around and through, around and through both. In, around and through both. And we're going to work this way until we get to the end. Try to keep it in frame here. Back around my hand every time I move. I have to readjust here. Round and through. In, around and through. In, around and through. You see it's kind of curling up a little bit. You can pull on it and straighten it back out. Different yarns will act different ways. So the chain that I'm working on is off to the left, and my completed row is going to the right. And that's with being right-handed. If you're left-handed, it will be the reverse. So I'm trying to keep it in frame. I want to work a couple rows for you so you can see how to go up. Alrighty, so we'll just work a few more here. Through, around, pull up a loop, and through 2, through, around, pull up a loop, through 2, through, around, pull up a loop, through 2. We're coming to the end. There's 4 stitches left. We have a little bit of tail. I'm just going to flip the tail around. We're just going to work over it, and that'll hide it in our work, and then I can just trim the end. And back around my hand. And that'll hide it for us. So we're going to go under the tail of the yarn, through the loop, and around. Now that is going to hold it steady. Pull that a little bit, straighten it all out. Okay, through the loop, under the tail, around and through. Down, around, and through. In, around, and through. Now we're at the very last one, and the very last one's a little hard to hold on to, but it gets easier. Okay, so we have, run it through the camera, the whole thing curls up a little bit. As it gets bigger, we'll have less curl. Okay, so to turn, we have this. I want to chain 1. That gives us the height to go up to that other row. I want to turn the work over. Now we're looking at the back of the work. Okay, so we want to take the hook, go under our little loops from the top. See the little loops? I'm going to go right under those. Pull up a loop, around and through. It's the same thing we were doing, but we're just going to go through these 2 loops, 2 loops, around and through. So that's the same as these loops that stacks sideways. So we're going to have vertical loops and horizontal loops when we crochet. So there's the vertical loops here, the horizontal loops right there. So I'm holding this out of the way so we can see what we're doing. Then around, through, around and through. And we'll work all the way down again. Oops, only grabbed one. Look, we really want to grab them both. There's some patterns that will only have you run a front or a back loop, but that's not what we're doing today. Today we are learning just how to do the basic stitches. So in, around, and up, and through both. In, around, up. There we are, through both. In, around, and through both. Now I hope that works great for y'all. I will do another one next week and post that as well. Have fun, everybody. Bye.